NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One. Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky, and the first ticket to the Final Four with a 6-seed Oregon State and the 1-seed Louisville Cardinals, your champions of the Atlantic Coast Conference. 2 Elite Eight matchups today, 2 more for you tomorrow. And we will start down at the bottom with Louisville and Oregon State. Coming up later tonight, Mississippi State and UCLA. Some thoughts and some words from head coach Jeff Walz in the Louisville locker room moments ago.
The game's a game, correct? It's 90 feet, same damn goals. It's still, they're still 10 feet, but it's a chance for us to get a practice again. Okay, that's what I'm excited about. A chance to get 3 more days of practice. But don't leave anything out here. When this thing's over, you need to be physically and mentally exhausted. Play for each other. Don't you worry about me. It don't matter. I'm gonna yell at y'all. I always do, correct? If you don't box out, be more upset that you let your teammates down. Okay? You play for each other, and then great things happen. We'll give you the direction and guidance during the game, but just play for each other and come out here and have fun. Got it? Let's go.
And we welcome you inside Rupp Arena. Beth Mullins along with Debbie Antonelli. Not a lot of rah-rah from Jeff Walz. He stuck to the specifics to get his team ready.
Do you really need it at this point, Beth? I mean, neither team needs a big speech or to get their team excited. This game is going to come down to the details. Who runs the floor harder? Who sets better screens? Who knocks down open shots? Those are the details that are going to matter at the end because the pace is going to be incredible.
And there's plenty of talent out on the floor, including not 1 but 2 ACC Players of the Year for Louisville in Maisha Hines-Allen and Asia Durr.
Well, this year's ACC Player of the Year is Asia Durr. She can score at all 3 levels. She led the ACC in 3-point percentage. And on the interior is Maisha Hines-Allen. She's a former ACC Player of the Year. She's almost a double-double machine. She's fantastic in the open floor, a very good rebounder and finisher. But for Oregon State, Louisville's not seen anybody on their schedule this year that has the 6'5" frame and skill set that Marie Gulich brings to the floor for Oregon State. A terrific finisher around the rim, really good in transition, terrific on the defensive end in blocking shots. She will be a tough challenge for the Louisville Cardinals.
And Gulich is a big reason why the 6th seed is on the brink of the Final Four, Allison Williams.
That's right, Beth. This Oregon State team upset-minded as they will try to become just the 7th team, seeded 6 or lower, to advance to the Final Four. The last time it happened was here in Lexington, 2016, when Washington made it through. 2016 was also the year that Oregon State made it to their first and only Final Four. And to get there, they had to beat Baylor in Dallas, just about 95 miles from Waco. So it was essentially a road game for Oregon State. And they find themselves in the same scenario here in this Elite Eight. They are playing in Lexington, just about 80 miles away from Louisville. They know they are the underdog. They are the road team. Scott Ruick, the head coach, said, we embrace that. It's been like that throughout this tournament. It was like that in 2016, and we draw confidence from that. He said, we are ready to take on Louisville and their 6,000 fans.
Why not us to Columbus for the Final Four? Somebody's about to move on. The 1-seed Louisville, the 6-seed Oregon State coming up.
The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One, official bank and credit card of the NCAA. What's in your wallet? And in part by Wagner OEX Brakes, the stopping power you need when your family needs it most.
Forward for Louisville, a 6'5"
Welcome back to the Elite Eight. And the first ticket about to be punched, Oregon State and Louisville for a trip up to Columbus, Ohio, and the Final Four next weekend. Louisville, a #1 seed for the first time in school history, their best regular season to date with a school record 35 wins. Can they keep it going one more weekend? And for Oregon State, trying to crash that party in Columbus as a 6 seed and get back to the Final Four for the second time in the last 3 years. There's Jeff Walz twice. He's played for the national championship at Louisville, falling to UConn in both 2009 and 2013. That 13 trip, the last time they advanced to the Final Four, so none of the current cards have been there. Scott Rueck got his club to the 2016 Final Four, and they are back into the Elite Eight, trying to return. The alum is getting the job done for the Beavers in his 8th season. A coaching family, a coach's kid. And we're actually going to hear from his son, Cole, who is possibly the next in line. He's got our keys to the game coming up in a little bit. Home whites for Louisville. They're just down I-64 from their hometown here in Lexington to take on the Beavers in black.
Louisville wants a pace. They want to go through their sets quickly. They want to try to get Durr established, and Oregon State wants to keep Louisville in front.
Durr's first shot attempt off the mark. Oregon State did a great job in their Sweet 16 win over Baylor, the first team to out-rebound Baylor all season. And that helps them control the pace and get something set up inside for Gulich, who has it stripped loose.
Right away, they bring the double to the low block, and it allows Louisville to transition off their defense.
Furing missed the wraparound layup.
Louisville's going to pick up full court pressure. They're going to try to turn Oregon State over. Oregon State with a -5 turnover margin coming into the game.
Gulich, look at all the white jerseys around her, and it's stolen for a second time. Hines Allen, coast to coast.
Twice the ball goes inside to Gulich. You know Scott Rueck wants to establish her early, and both times Louisville collapses. Look at the amount of white jerseys around Gulich. That's 4 people paying attention to Marie Gulich on the interior. Now keep in mind, Oregon State is the second best three-point shooting team in the country. They run a lot of 4 out, 1 in, but Gulich doesn't even have time to make a decision with the basketball right now.
Here comes some of that full court pressure. Michaela Pivac has been running the point all season, but she is more natural as the shooter.
They're going to wear out that left hand for Pivac today. They're going to force her left as much as they can.
Tudor gets into the lane. Gulich, offensive rebound. As you referenced, it's Gulich and then 4 shooters. They can all hurt you. And right now they're having some problems with the turnovers as we take a look at the Capital One starting lineups. Here's the Louisville starting 5. Sam Furing may be an X factor for them at 6'3", has been fantastic in this postseason.
I'm expecting a big game out of her on the glass, and she'll have a responsibility guarding Gulich on the defensive end to start the game.
Erica Carter with the pull-up. 1 and done on that trip. And the rebound for Marie.
Here's something to keep your eye on, Beth. Oregon State already turned it over 3 times. They have 1 offensive rebound. They have to be positive in that margin for extra possessions.
Tate Corsdale misses the long rebound, as good as an outlet pass for Louisville. Hines Allen able to keep it alive. A little bit of confusion as to what defense Oregon State was in. That gives Furing an opportunity.
Yeah, Furing's going to get some looks. They're going to leave her unguarded and try to help on the inside if they can. They like to pack it in. They're not going to overextend Oregon State with their defense.
Gulich, the step back a bit short. Able to keep it alive. The hustle by Marie Gulich to get down on the deck. Gulich with the much smaller defender on her. Kicks it out for three, and that's good from Corsdale.
Now, Baylor consistently pinched in and helped off ball side corner. If you do that against Oregon State, they are going to bury a triple on you. Katie McWilliams hit the game winner, basically, the margin for the game in the Sweet 16 against Baylor. And you saw Maisha Hines-Allen help.
Durr, the lefty, gets the hop there. Durr, the 5'10" junior out of Douglasville, Georgia, the ACC player of this year, had a 47-point game during the regular season against Ohio State. Three from Kat Tudor, that's short. Long rebound to Durr. 3-on-3, Hines-Allen, the pull-up and the pop.
Right now, Louisville's getting whatever they want. They're scoring off their defense. They're scoring in their transition game.
Katie McWilliams gets a touch for Gulich. Tries to get to that right side, and Furing bothers the shot.
Furing just closes the space on Gulich.
Durr got a little too anxious.
I'm talking about pinching off the strong side, Beth, and this is what I mean. Now watch Gulich going to catch the ball up here, and then watch as she drives down the lane line, okay? Freeze it right here. Watch Maisha Hines-Allen and her reaction to the basketball. She pinches it on the dribble, and that leaves a wide open three-point threat outside the arc.
It is the second best three-point shooting team in the country. And they have a host of players that can shoot it. Gulich kicks it out, Corsdale, and that won't go. Oregon State starting out just 1 for 8 in the game. Durr for 3. So Scott Rule told us, hey, we got to take care of the ball, we got to knock down shots. They have not put a check mark beside either of those yet.
Well, Louisville's really affecting the quality of the catch that Oregon State is getting, though, with their defense, because they're really out over playing, and there's a steal and a strip.
Carter with the pick of Pivic.
They run their dribble weave, looking for a switch.
Furing going off the bounce by Gulich. Marie may have got a piece of that one.
See, this is good for Louisville, this pace up and down, because you see Oregon State, to me, looks a little fatigued in this segment of the game right now. Nerves have something to do with it. Pace is the other.
Depth is not a strength for Oregon State. They'll bring maybe a couple people in off the bench, and an offensive foul going to be called on Gulich, setting the screen.
That's a fatigue foul, Beth.
7-3 Louisville early on in our Elite 8 matchup. As Asia Durr heads to the bench, not only her teammates await, but her brother as well. TJ and Asia, and the Cards on top.
Louisville with a 7-3 lead here in Lexington, led by ACC Conference Player of the Year, Asia Durr, whose biggest cheerleader and fan, well, he's seated right on the bench. It's her brother and team manager, TJ. The two of them are just 14 months apart. They have been best friends throughout their entire lives, and it means so much to Asia to have him here with her on the team, part of the team, and with her for all practices, all games. And they went through a pretty scary ordeal. When Asia was a junior, TJ was diagnosed with what ended up being a non-cancerous brain tumor. He did have to have surgery on it, and that experience brought the two even closer. They made a commitment that wherever she went to college, TJ would follow, and the two are so close, and it means so much to have him here with her.
And TJ's been a big pickup for Asia. She struggled a bit in the ACC tournament in the early rounds of the NCAAs, but has really come on of late. 43 points in her last 2 games. Oregon State, let's see if they're settled down a bit coming out of the timeout. Gulich will get to the free throw line. They've turned it over on 5 of their 10 possessions and hit just 1 of their 8 shots. That's been a problem for them early. And if Durr continues that hot pace, it's gonna be a high-scoring affair. They're gonna need to try and keep up. The last 2 games, she's back to her usual self.
I think Jeff Walls gives her a lot of confidence, and her teammates do. They set great screens for her. They move the ball. They hit her in the shooting pocket so she can be in rhythm on the catch. She does a lot of work, Asia Durr, before the ball gets in her hands. That's part of the reason why she's such an effective scorer at all 3 levels.
Gulich, after a miss on the first attempt, able to knock that down. The 6'5" senior from Germany, averaging a double-double, 23 points, 12 rebounds during the NCAA tournament. Has really been one of the best players we've seen in the country through the first 3 rounds. Kylie Shook stepping out to shoot the 3. Offensive rebound, Furing.
Furing had 11 boards in the last game. They said it was one of her best efforts, individual efforts on the glass all season.
Durr looking for 3 with a hand in her face, got it.
That even gives you more confidence, Beth. When you cycle through your offense, you get an offensive rebound, you maintain possession, and then you hit a contested jump shot.
41% on the season. She's now moved up to 2nd all-time in 3-pointers made. Well, the final spot in St. Paul for the Frozen Four gets filled later today. It's Ohio State and Denver at 6:30 Eastern on ESPNU and the ESPN app. For every championship update, go to NCAA.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. Beth Mowens, Debbie Antonelli, Allison Williams with you here in Lexington, Kentucky. One of these will become the first team to get to the Final Four in Columbus as Tudor uses that left hand, wanted a foul.
The way Louisville has upped their effort defensively, they are really closing the space on ball handlers for Oregon State. You're going to have to look to go backdoor, and you're going to have to look to put it on the floor. You might have to put your pressure package in right here, Beth. You know, all those dribble entries to the wing, entries to the high post. Louisville making it tough for you to pass the basketball.
That foul will be called on Michaela Pivic. Going for the loose ball, the first on her. Michaela flirted with a triple-double in the win over Baylor the other day and fought through some foul problems to help her team late. Had the game-winning assist. Rattled in by Shook, and the full court pressure to follow.
Erica Carter is doing a really good job of defending. Ooh, that was almost a steal by Jasmine Jones. That's what I'm talking about. You got to tighten up your angles. You got to shorten your passes. You're going to make Oregon State play off the bounce, Beth. 68% of their baskets are assisted.
They are just 2 for 10 here in the first quarter.
If you let them just pass and catch where they want, they're going to pick you apart. They're too good offensively. You got to make them take the shots you want them to take.
Durr with the crossover, the pass to Furing, and a foul. And if that's on Gulich, it's going to be 2. Let's see who they give it to. No, they'll give it to Corsdale, her first.
So Asia Durr hits a triple and sets up her ability to drive. Right here, a little crossover, gets into the paint and drops it off once she draws the help from Gulich. Now Furing has had some good looks at the rim. Maybe making some free throws will let her see a big basket.
The off-center free throw shooting of Sam Furing gets the second one down.
You got to have a routine or a ritual. It doesn't matter what it is, whatever works for you, and the ball goes in.
We touched on it earlier, but it is yeoman's work that Pivic is doing, trying to run the point without really a true point guard. They'll have an awfully good one next year in the Maryland transfer coming in, Destiny Slocum. Gulich. Pretty pass.
Really good cut to the ball. That's a tough place for Louisville to defend Gulich. If they can run offense to her on that block, she is really tough.
Well, despite the poor shooting in this final minute of the first quarter, Oregon State has been able to hang around.
Got to have high hands on the shooters on a closeout. Can't let Katie McWilliams see the rim.
3-second violation trying to set the screen. Scott Rueck unimpressed with that whistle.
Well, he's done a terrific job getting his team to this point. To go through Knoxville and beat Tennessee, a team that had never lost in the first and second round at home, and then to knock off the 2-seed Baylor, who all year I had claimed could have been a 1.
It's only happened twice before that a low seed has beaten a 1, a 2, and a 3 en route to the Final Four. That's what Oregon State is trying to pull off. Hines Allen. Erica Carter, offensive rebound. They'll hold for 1.
Zone by Oregon State.
Hines Allen turns wide open. Cleared by Oregon State. 1 quarter in the books. 14-8, Louisville with the lead. The Oregon State head coach, Scott Rueck, with Allison on the other side.
It's time for the Play 4K free throw.
I mean, that's been the whole thing, you know. It's obviously a home crowd for them. They've come out with a lot of energy like we expected, pushed us off our spots a little bit, and so we just need to calm down. I mean, it's a 6-point game. I'm a little bit grateful for that, and so hopefully we can settle in and execute.
How can you get Marie Gulich going a little bit?
You know, I think we have to get her deeper position. They've done a good job moving her away from the basket, so I think once our offense starts flowing a little bit better, we'll get her deeper position.
Scott, thanks.
Thank you.
In case of a tie, the team to make the first free throw will win. All right, teams, are you ready?
After 1 quarter, it's a 14-8 lead for Louisville here with Oregon State head coach Scott Rueck. Coach Rueck, I know you're concerned about the turnovers. What do you tell your team regarding the 6 turnovers?
Just to relax. I mean, that's been the whole thing, you know. It's obviously a home crowd for them. They've come out with a lot of energy like we expected, pushed us off our spots a little bit, and so we just need to calm down. I mean, it's a 6-point game. I'm a little bit grateful for that, and so hopefully we can settle in and execute.
How can you get Marie Gulich going a little bit?
You know, I think we have to get her deeper position. They've done a good job moving her away from the basket, so I think once our offense starts flowing a little bit better, we'll get her deeper position.
Scott, thanks.
Thank you.
In case of a tie, the team to make the first
3 of those 6 Oregon State turnovers are from Marie Gulich because of the way Louisville has defended. They've collapsed. They've brought some help from different spots. They've got her playing in a crowd. She doesn't have time to facilitate. If they can keep her from scoring, she's a pretty good passer. If you can turn her into a passer, that's what Louisville wants to do. But you got to be able to, if you turn her into a passer or bringing help, you better be able to recover to those 3-point shooters. She's too talented inside. That's where her basketball IQ comes into play. Where the help comes from, how she reads where the help comes from.
And as Allison and Scott referenced, despite the poor shooting for Oregon State, their defense and their advantage on the boards have kept them right in it. And of those 6 turnovers, Debbie, Louisville only made them pay once. Spinning Gulich to the left side, and they're going to call her for the walk.
She's capable in a one-on-one in scoring, and that's what you want to have. Any coach would love to have. If you had a low post presence back to the basket that demands a double, especially with the 3-point shooters that Scott Rueck has around her on the perimeter.
That's her 4th turnover, which matches the number of shots she's gotten up so far in the game. Early in this second quarter for a spot in the Final Four. And the 3 from Dana Evans. Allison?
During the last time out, Jeff Walz told his team, I love your energy. You're playing fast on offense. You're doing a heck of a job on defense, but you got to start attacking the boards more. Oregon State does have the advantage rebounding. And he said as far as Gulich goes, you're doing a good job defensively against her, but don't be afraid to go at her on the other end. She only has the 1 foul.
And they just lost her right there. Gulic with her easiest look at the bucket so far today.
That's a communication mistake on the back row of your defense. And Oregon State comes off the timeout, a second possession of zone. We saw that going to the end of the quarter.
Boy, and after Kylie Shook made the mistake at one end, she makes the mistake at the other end as well. She's going to check out of the game. They're set to get Fuehring back on. This is Aaliyah Goodman now, giving Pivic a little break at the point.
They love that roll and replace action in the shoot, where they roll Pivic, or excuse me, roll Gulic to the rim and then try to find a shooter on the throwback.
5 on the shot clock here for Oregon State. And a reminder, of course, the NCAA men's Final Four begins Saturday on TBS with spots in the national championship game on the line. For more info, go to ncaa.com. The men are in action later this afternoon, and then it's back to the women later tonight on ESPN with Mississippi State and UCLA.
Jeff Walz doing a good job of inverting or pre-switching his defense before that out-of-bounds play, which means you put a little on a big to start, because when they set a screen, you switch and you get matched up with the right-sized player. Bigs on bigs, littles on littles.
Fuehring, after her pass was batted right back to her, she puts it up and in.
Fuehring has been key for Louisville in the postseason, from the ACC tournament all the way through the NCAA. She gives them a third option.
There's the pick and the roll, and a blocking foul on Hines Allen. And that is the second on Maisha. So Gulic back to the free throw line. She is the only Beaver that has made some attempts from 15 feet. She's 1 for 2 today. We told you that Scott Ruick is not the only coach in his family. His dad, Marv, a legendary high school coach. And his son, Cole, if he doesn't end up playing on the PGA Tour, he may be the next in line. Look at him, he's taking notes over there.
It's great. We hit him up yesterday at shoot-around with his keys to Oregon State win. He's got to hit our threes, limit turnovers, and take Durr out of her comfort zone. I wonder if he's charting any of his keys over there.
They're 0 for 2 on the top pair. Just 1 for 4 three-point shooting and too many turnovers.
Cole is 14 years old. He's point guard, and he's a really good golfer. But he doesn't talk any smack. I tried.
Yeah. Let's see what he jots down here on the pull-up from Jasmine Jones. Scramble, and Oregon State comes away from it. After you beat Jeff Walz in a game of pig earlier in the week, you didn't even bother challenging Cole Ruick.
I scouted him out
He
before.
was knocking all his shots down.
We got a challenge, though, in the offseason, me and Cole. Who's going to make 50 free throws in a row first? We're supposed to let the other one know when it happens.
That's great stuff. Remember as a kid when you used to keep score, sitting up in the stands? Second chance effort there, Bianca Dunham. So if Louisville can get some help from its bigs off the bench, that's going to be huge for them, not only today, but possibly in the Final Four as well, to have that kind of depth up front. They're enjoying their biggest lead right here.
Boy, Erica Carter really doing a good job disrupting the rhythm up top.
Tudor with a triple, knocks it down. That's a big part of their game if they can crank it up.
And Jeff Walz's team went over the elevator / stagger at the top, and they did not defend it well. Look at the poise of Oregon State to get the shot they wanted under that kind of duress.
That's a very patient offense. They didn't shoot it well in the first half against Baylor, and then were lights out in the second half as Asia Durr counters with a 3.
Boy, and the competitive look on Kat Tudor's face after Durr stuck that triple. She means business. Let's see if they run something for her this time.
Number 22 running the baseline there and then curling back out on top.
You got to reverse the ball and look to attack off the trap.
Tudor, no. Carter running with Jones. Fuehring out of the trail.
She hit one in the Stanford game, but she hadn't hit one since the beginning of February.
I think Jeff Walz was upset she didn't make one more pass to get it to Asia Durr.
There's that roll and replace, and they lift on the weak side. A terrific job. See, when you roll as hard to the rim as Gulic does, you occupy space, and you take a defender with you, an extra defender.
They are a great complement to each other. Gulic inside and the shooters to space that floor on the outside. Durr getting the screen from Dunham, and Asia Durr lighting it up here in the first half. She's got 11 and her third triple.
I would go right back to that same set that Oregon State just ran, except for Scott Rue's going to get a timeout right here, trailing by 10. And part of the reason why Louisville's on a little bit of a run is because Asia Durr, the ACC's top three-point shooter, is starting to find a big basket. Hines Allen on the inside. Asia Durr from the outside. The largest lead for Louisville in the first half.
Good stuff. Okay. Thank you, Maria. And there are the matchups still to come in the Elite Eight. The one seeds all still alive, including that big UConn South Carolina showdown in Albany tomorrow night.
I feel like Asia Wilson has to get 40 for them to win.
Yeah, they haven't had any luck against UConn. Let's check in with Allison Williams.
Well, Scott Rueck told us the singular biggest reason that his team has made it to the Elite Eight is the leadership of their senior center, Marie Gulic. And during that last timeout, while Rueck was with his assistants before he entered the huddle, Marie was talking so much with her team. She was so authoritative yet calm. And she said, look, we're fine. You guys need to calm down. We need better movement, better spacing. I know they're pressing us, but stay poised. Hold that ball strong. Let's go. She's like, we can make these shots. And she had such a strong presence with her team. You could really just see that leadership that he talks about.
Well, she's posting hard right here, Allison, demanding the basketball.
And unfortunately for her, she has now turned it over for the 5th time. But the 6'5" senior from Germany told us that she came here for the culture and now has really ingrained herself not only in that culture, but as the leader that is trying to get them to the Final Four for the 2nd time in her career.
And you heard Nell talking about speed and quickness in Louisville. It's not just in the pace, it's the way they're guarding in the quarter court, because they're forcing Oregon State to play faster than they really want to play.
Gulic with a rebound.
If Oregon State can't score in their transition, which they haven't had any opportunity, then they're pretty good with their late shot clock execution. You got to keep speeding them up and hope the wear down effect is what Louisville looks for with their depth.
And they're going to try and wear Gulic down a little bit with some. Look, they can run 4 post players at her here with all those fouls, as Bianca Dunham will pick one up there. Pivick is back in at the point, by the way, for the Beavers.
And then you got to deal with Dana Evans and Erica Carter pressing the guards on the ball.
On the inbound, Gulic with the left hand. Also of note on that last graphic was the fact that there are a pair of ACC teams left. There are still 3 Pac-12 teams in the mix. Could be a huge weekend for them if they can get 3 to the Final Four. They had a pair of teams there 2 years ago in Washington and this Oregon State team. Pivick lost to Sneaker. And now we'll make her way across midcourt.
So Scott Rueck puts Pivick back on the floor, but takes the ball handling responsibilities off the top of the floor away from her, as I think McWilliams got away with a travel.
Gulic Gonna be called for the offensive foul. And that is her second.
Watch Gulich trying to fight for position inside. Oh boy, I don't know about that. That was a good sell inside by Furing. But I'll tell you what, before that, the skip pass to the corner, Katie McWilliams, that's her shot.
Yep.
The pass made her drop her hands. Remember we talked about details? That's a little thing, but as a shooter, you never want to drop your hands below your waist. You want it to come right in the pocket. She could have made a three from there. That's where she made the three against Baylor.
That was her dagger three in the final seconds in their win in the Sweet 16. Gulich stays in the game with those two fouls, 2:30 to go in the half. Shook, got it.
Kylie Shook, 6'4", sophomore, best shot blocker on Louisville's team. She's got an impressive upside, doesn't she?
She sure does. Former starter for them, now coming off the bench.
Well, they missed Gulich on the switch.
Got a bump in front of the Louisville bench. Well, the Around the Rim podcast is on the ESPN app and on Apple Podcast. It's hosted by LaChina Robinson, and LaChina will be recording live at the Women's Final Four this year from Columbus. Check out the Around the Rim podcast for all the latest.
I love that step-up screen action that they just drew a foul on Shook, because Pivot comes off that and draws the foul by attacking the hedge.
Corsdale stepping back and hitting the three. Fourth of the first half for Oregon State.
I think they're starting to feel a little comfortable.
I think you would be right on that. It's definitely the kind of score that Oregon State would prefer. In the lower numbers, Furing.
So tough. And I'm not just talking about physically tough. I mean mentally tough too, Sam Furing.
She's been through a lot already in her life off the court. Out of New Jersey. Loose ball picked up by Oregon State. Final minute of the half.
This is kind of 2-for-1 territory for Oregon State.
Pivik on the drive, able to use her size off the bounce for two.
That's some toughness right there on the other side for Oregon State. She's an incredible athlete, Michaela Pivik.
Two-sport star at Oregon State. Also throws the javelin with the track and field team. Durr.
You're looking to trap Durr on that ball screening action. And see, Sam Furing didn't like being tied up out there. Watch out now.
Her teammates coming over to remind her to keep her emotions in check. Just the second team foul for Oregon State.
Scott Rueck was trying to get Joanna Grimmick in for a defensive possession on that back row. Probably try to get Gulich out with those two. I'd go right at Gulich, see if you can pick up one more at the end of the half.
So Rueck's got to use these fouls wisely, or he's still got, let's see, that's the third. He's still got one more to give to try and mess with the rhythm of Louisville here in the final 9 seconds. And there goes Gulich out.
That's a terrific coaching job over there. You use a foul, you get Gulich out off the foul when you can substitute on the dead ball.
Shook. Grimmick snares the rebound, and that'll do it. First half in the books, 31-24 Louisville with the lead over Oregon State. And we are now 20 minutes away from punching that first ticket to the Final Four in Columbus. Let's get over to Allison.
Asia, you lead the way with 11, but a pretty balanced scoring attack. What's been the key offensively for you guys?
Just staying aggressive. I mean, they're playing great
20 minutes away from a trip to the Final Four. What will be the key in the second half?
Playing hard and getting stops, man. They shoot the crap out the ball, so we got to find them.
Asia, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Durr with 11. That hot shooting included 4 3-pointers for Oregon State. Here's Maria Taylor in the studio.
The NCAA ticket exchange provides.
Maria, as a team, you guys shot much better in the second quarter. What changed from the first to the second?
We just have to calm down a little bit. They're pressuring us, but overall, we just got to play better as a team. We haven't had like the spacing we need and the passing. Like it wasn't the way we play. So we just got to fix that in the second half. Now I think it got a little bit better in the second quarter, but we can do way better on that. And we just got to be more aggressive to the rim and just see open players and knock down shots. And I think that's all we need on offense. Obviously, defensively, we just got to play defense and box out. But yeah.
Marie, thank you.
Thank you.
Championship presented by Capital One. 20 minutes away from a spot in the Final Four. Louisville with the lead over Oregon State 31-24. And let's look at our Google Cloud highlights from that first half.
Louisville's Asia Durr. 3 triples in the first half. Look at that stat line on the right side of the box score as well, but watch how hard she works off the screening action. Louisville does a terrific job of finding her. She's option number 1 at the top of the scouting report in the second half for Oregon State to try to make her put it on the bounce and score off the bounce.
She leads all scorers with 11 points. On the other side, the good news for Oregon State, the fact that they shot it better in that second quarter and were really even on the scoreboard with Louisville.
Remember Scott Ruick said to Allison Williams that we needed to be more comfortable with what we're doing. Getting the ball to Marie Gulich is where their comfort zone is. Watch how hard she works, rolls to the rim, opens up 3-point shooting. That's the spacing that she's talking about.
And after coming out of the locker room, I should say, Allison Williams was able to chat with Marie Gulich.
Maria, as a team, you guys shot much better in the second quarter. What changed from the first to the second?
We just have to calm down a little bit. They're pressuring us, but overall, we just got to play better as a team. We haven't had like the spacing we need and the passing. Like it wasn't the way we play. So we just got to fix that in the second half. Now I think it got a little bit better in the second quarter, but we can do way better on that. And we just got to be more aggressive to the rim and just see open players and knock down shots. And I think that's all we need on offense. Obviously, defensively, we just got to play defense and box out. But yeah.
Marie, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Allison. Yeah, they were 3 of 4 from downtown in that second quarter. Gulich, 8.7 rebounds, but 6 turnovers. The quickness and the pressure has really been effective for Louisville so far, as Gulich is able to catch and score inside.
The catch is the key, the quality of the catch. 2 feet in the paint, 2 points. She can't bring any help when she catches it that deep.
This is Asia Durr. Working on a couple of screens. Carter for 3. And Pivik with the rebound. Shooter open in transition. Weak side board, Jasmine Jones.
That's really the first transition opportunity that Oregon State has had. Jeff Walls asking Erica Carter to bring it. Let's pick up the cadence a little bit on the offensive end.
Fearing mid-post. And on the ball reversal, Jones no good, and Carter able to tip it back. The deep 3 for Durr from about 25 feet.
And a little emotion out of Asia.
She's got 14 on 4 3-pointers. And the reach-in foul on Jones.
I'm telling you, that's okay by Jeff Walls. He really wants his guards to get in the grill of the ball handlers for Oregon State. Look at the rate. I'm gonna have to break out my tape measure, Beth. Been carrying a tape measure around for decades. I'm gonna have to measure that one.
You can't pick that, you can't cite that now?
Well, it's probably about 6 feet outside the arc.
Gulich going to work. That's back-to-back buckets for Big Marie.
Actually, I'm going to have to start carrying a tape measure that is longer than 6 feet because of the way these players shoot it now.
They got deeper range. Hines Allen spins, short. Oregon State ball. So the Oregon State senior, Marie Gulich, some struggles in the first half, but has scored now in the last 2 possessions. Pivick.
What a break for Louisville's defense. Terrible on the transition. If you're going to pressure Pivick, you got to make her go side to side, not north and south.
Carter probing that 2-3 zone. Fearing goes weak side. Carter for 3.
You go inside, you skip it to the other side. Good spacing by Louisville. There you go.
6 triples in the game now for the Ville.
You turn them into backcourt, Beth, and then you really lock down into half court.
Carter got a piece of it. Pivick just inside the line. Jones with the rebound, and here they come with the push.
Look how quickly they move the ball now.
All 5 Cardinals got a touch, and 1 for Hines Allen.
That ball movement brought Gulich away from the paint, and Maisha Hines Allen just sizes her up. Check it out, little ball fake. Got the shot blocker rocking.
And they draw the 3rd foul on Marie Gulich. Hines Allen, the senior from Montclair, New Jersey. The other day went over 2,000 career points to join Angel McCautry and Shoni Schimmel, the only 3 to do it in school history. The other 2 went to the Final Four. Hines Allen trying to match that. There is not an opportunity for these ball handlers for Oregon State to catch their breath.
Well, that's a terrific way of defending Maisha Hines Allen, really sitting on Gulich on that back pick.
Hines Allen off the bounce, and a foul.
It's a little bit of Maisha Hines Allen time right now, the former ACC Player of the Year.
Second foul on Corsdale. 64% free throw shooter is Hines Allen. In her 141st career game at Louisville, looking for the biggest win of her career. Our second Elite 8 game tonight is UCLA, Mississippi State. And then right after that, it's Sports Center with Kevin Connors and Doug Kazarian. That's coming up tonight at 9:30 Eastern on ESPN. And we're back in a moment.
They're going 10 miles straight and not a single fumble. This girl is
111 consecutive victories for the UConn Huskies.
Well, it's not often you see Connecticut out hustle. That is surprising.
William on the drive. Pull up, got it! She got it! Mississippi State has ended the streak.
The greatest upset in tournament history a year ago at the Final Four. Mississippi State and UConn still around. Victoria Vivians and Tierra McCowan leading the Bulldogs against UCLA. The Bruins trying to get to the Final Four for the first time. Then the big showdown in Albany, UConn and South Carolina. The defending national champion Gamecocks, led by Asia Wilson, going up against Kian Urs and Gabby Williams. The UConn seniors with a 147-2 career record. And then tomorrow night in Spokane, Notre Dame and Oregon. The Ducks trying to reach the Final Four for their first time.
So Louisville ups their pressure, look for a backdoor cut or an alley-oop to the rim.
Gulich. Second chance, step into the other side of the rim for the lay-in.
Really good execution. Scott Ruick sensed with the media timeout coming. He needed to burn one there because this is a critical time for his team down double digits.
Durr, so slippery off the dribble and goes to the lefty lay-in.
Good decision by Gulich, who is one of the top shot blockers, not to try to block that shot and pick up a fourth.
Pivot, big collision underneath, and they're going to call a held ball, and it will stay with the Beavers. Maisha Hines-Allen with the block there.
A lot of contact.
Sure was.
Mismatch, Jones fighting for her life on the block with Gulich. And see, Katie McWilliams just needed a dribble to improve the angle or reverse the ball.
Timeout on the court and a 14-point Louisville lead for a spot in the Final Four.
The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One, official bank and credit card of the NCAA. What's in your wallet? And in part by Google, official cloud of the NCAA.
Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky, and the first Elite Eight matchup at the NCAA Women's Championship. 44-30, Louisville with the lead over Oregon State. Under 5 to go here in the third. Beth Mowens, Debbie Antonelli, Allison Williams. The Louisville defense has been stifling, forcing a lot of turnovers. That's been a big difference on the scoreboard. Asia Durr leading all scorers with 16 points. Marie Gulich has 14 for Oregon State.
Really good hustle by Jasmine Jones. See, they don't guard Jones. They let her play out there on the perimeter, but she's good in the mid-range. Trying to get that fourth foul on Gulich.
Fearing. Baseline wraparound.
Use the clock, stay aggressive, get shots in your offense. Excellent execution.
Here's a good look again, Debbie, at this on-ball pressure for Louisville, which has been from the opening tip till now. Another takeaway. Jones.
You can sense it right now. Louisville's going for 13 points off of 12 turnovers for Louisville, and a whistle and a foul on the block. Here's the thing about Louisville's pressure. It is sustainable for 40 minutes. They are all locked in and connected with a deflection and Jazz Jones just anticipating in a passing lane. And in the Pac-12, you know, Arizona State is a good defensive team. Obviously, UCLA at the top of their pressure with Jordan Canada, and they're back with Monique Billings. But the most sustainable pressure for 40 minutes in that league, I think, is Southern Cal.
McWilliams. All right, so here they come with the three balls to try and loosen things up.
Well, and that's the thing. You can't count them out. They're the second best three-point shooting team in the country at 40% as a team.
Shot it extremely well in the second half against Baylor, including the game winner in the final seconds. Kat Tudor had it and then threw it right back to Louisville.
Wow, unselfish hustle off their defense. And this crowd's starting to feel it.
Another steal. Jasmine Jones. Horsdale for three. And a foul on the rebound will go against Louisville, and some pushing and shoving. Erica Carter and Michaela Pivick.
So now the call is with Furing. It's not involving Pivick off the ball here. Hey, Louisville wants to be really careful here. You know, they've got a surmountable lead. They got a chance to put the game away right here.
Oh. Carter with the kick at Pivot.
Now they're going to take a look at this. That might fall under the category of unsportsmanlike behavior or an unsportsmanlike foul by Erica Carter.
Dee Cantner, Jesse Dickerson, Mikal Murray, the officials.
Fuhring and Gulich are locked up off the ball. And then you see over on the left side of your screen, and Maisha Hans-Island comes running in to make sure there's nothing more here. But
initially, Pivot did not like Carter landing on top of her. She pushes the foot off of her head, and then Carter's going to swing the foot back at Pivot. One push, the kick back.
That is excellent camera work, by the way. And you see Pivot. Carter just falls. It's a basketball play initially. It's the reaction by Carter that I think is the issue here that could fall under the unsportsmanlike category, which in the men's side is the same as a flagrant one.
52-33 at a pivotal moment with 2:05 to go in the third quarter, where Louisville was opening this game up and the defense was taking over.
So remember, the foul is called on the other side of the floor, which...
Yeah, that was on Sam Fuhring, which was her third.
And Louisville has 4 team fouls, so that would not put Gulich at the free throw line. That would be an inbound on the baseline. But if this is an unsportsmanlike foul, which is the same as a flagrant one, that would be 2 free throws for Oregon State. And then you go back to the point of interruption, which would be their ball underneath the basket.
It has been a frustrating afternoon for the Oregon State ball handlers, to say the least, with the on-ball pressure coast to coast throughout the day. 14 turnovers for Oregon State, 7 steals from the Louisville defense, including 3 of them here in the last few minutes.
Right, that's why it's turned into a 19-point game off the Louisville defense.
The 6-seed Oregon State trying to get back to the Final Four for the second time in 3 years. For Louisville, the hunger is there, the desperation is there. None of those players has experienced the Final Four.
This serves as a timeout also for Oregon State that only has 2 remaining. Louisville has all 4. And so both teams need to be careful. Like Jeff Walls is asking the officials, let's speed it up a little bit. Oregon State likes this because it slows down the momentum of the crowd, the rhythm of Louisville on the defensive end. Exactly.
They have only gotten 8 minutes so far today from their bench. You may be picking up some of the conversation here. The foul will stand on Sam Fuhring. So that will be the 3rd foul on Fuhring, and then you're right, Debbie, an unsportsmanlike foul.
The only thing I was wrong about was the point of interruption does not matter here. It goes, the ball's going to be inbounded for Oregon State at the hash.
And the unsportsmanlike will be whistled against Erica Carter for the flying leg.
So 2 free throws for Kat Tudor for the unsportsmanlike foul. Jeff Walls getting extra clarification from Dee Kantner, who's still over at the scorer's table as Tudor waiting to shoot free throws.
And that will be a personal foul as well on Erica Carter, her second. So here's Kat Tudor at the line.
So now Louisville is over the bonus in the third quarter.
Got them both. And possession here, which they would have gotten off of the foul on Furing anyway. Pivick now being defended by Dana Evans. McWilliams. Rebound, Hines Allen. And the breakaway, Evans the other way, and a foul. And that is the fourth foul on Gulich.
Dana Evans could have stayed on the left side of the basket, but she sensed the closing speed of Marie Gulich.
And is Scott Rueck going to have to take Gulich out here? He will, with 1:48 to go in the third quarter. Gulich, by the way, has not fouled out of the game all year long, so the foul trouble here.
How about the Louisville defense, forcing 14 turnovers, holding Oregon State to just 35 points. This is a small lineup on the floor for Scott Rueck.
McWilliams. And a 5-second violation. Another turnover forced by the D. Well, the NIT will be heading to New York for its Final Four, with semifinal action tipping off Tuesday night at 7 Eastern. It's Western Kentucky and Utah on ESPN. Visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. Carter for three.
The Oregon State can't get back in it with their defense, but they're not a pressure up the line team. And although Scott Rueck extends his pressure, it left the backside scoring open for Carter.
That one was halfway down and popped back out.
Got a chance for a 2-for-1 here.
Hines Allen with the spin. Evans will circle back and
timeout, Louisville. 30-second timeout.
Jeff Walls calling the timeout. Didn't like the look of that setup. Let's take a look at our Capital One rewarding performance and a stifling Louisville defense this afternoon.
This is a terrific job defensively by Louisville. They have been harassing and disruptive. They have dictated the tempo with their D. They have been connected on the game plan, the scatter report, and they have overplayed. They have had high hands. Their detail and attention to detail on the defensive end has been outstanding, and they've been able to get some easy buckets in the second half off their pressure.
They are plus 13 turnover margin right now, and an Oregon State team that was 7th best in the country, shooting at a 48% clip, is down under 40% so far today. Out of the timeout, Walls will get the ball in the hands of Asia Durr and a second chance here.
Good rebound by Shook on the weak side.
Marie Gulich continues to sit with 4 personal fouls. Final seconds of this third quarter. Hines Allen. Everything going right for the Cardinals. Pivick on the drive, bumped by Shook.
Really smart read by Michaela Pivick. Let me say something about Asia Durr, Beth, because we've watched teams, Tara Vanderveer try to make her go right, take her left hand away, and everybody tries to take Durr's left hand away. If you watch her working off screening action, she's better going right. So while you sit on that left hand, you're sort of feeding her right into that ball screen, which she loves to come off going right. Especially on the top of the floor, really difficult to guard.
leading scorer tonight with 16 points, shooting 50%. As Gulick watches the final 11 seconds of the quarter. Third, a little out of control, had to give it up. Hines Allen jacks. Big third quarter as Louisville outscores Oregon State 28-12 and has busted this one wide open. Allison Williams will talk with Jeff Walz when we come back to Rupp Arena.
It's a 23-point lead for Louisville as we get ready to start the fourth quarter here with Cardinals head coach Jeff Walz. Coach Walz, what has made your pressure defense so effective?
Well, we've done a really nice job of pressuring the basketball, making it difficult for them to try to get into an offense. And we've got to continue it. I don't feel good with a 23-point lead, not with the way they can score and shoot the basketball. We've got to be smart and execute, take our time, push in transition when it's there, but not take bad shots. So it's a matter of just getting us calmed down, too, and understanding there's 10 minutes of basketball left.
Jeff, thank you.
Thank you.
But it's time for a t-shirt toss. Who wants a t-shirt? You better make some noise!
It's a 23-point lead for Louisville as we get ready to start the fourth quarter here with Cardinals head coach Jeff Walz. Coach Walz, what has made your pressure defense so effective?
Well, we've done a really nice job of pressuring the basketball, making it difficult for them to try to get into an offense. And we've got to continue it. I don't feel good with a 23-point lead, not with the way they can score and shoot the basketball. We've got to be smart and execute, take our time, push in transition when it's there, but not take bad shots. So it's a matter of just getting us calmed down, too, and understanding there's 10 minutes of basketball left.
Jeff, thank you.
Thank you.
10 minutes of basketball left to get to the Final Four in Columbus, Ohio next weekend. And the Louisville defense, the big story here, as they busted it open in the third quarter. 15 turnovers, 7 steals, and 20-0 right now. Points off of turnovers for the Ville.
Only 2 turnovers by Louisville as a team. That is an outstanding. That's the kind of detail and the execution you need with multiple ball handlers and point guards for Jeff Walz. That's terrific through 3 quarters of play.
And Scott Rueck really doesn't have a choice. He's got to get Marie Gulich back out there, and she will start this fourth quarter with 4 personal fouls. Has not DQ'd all season for Oregon State. Durr off the mark. We're just going to toss this out. One of the reasons why Jeff Walz is not comfortable with a 23-point lead, folks. Last year in the region final, Stanford came back from an 18-point deficit to beat Notre Dame on this floor in this house. the Pac-12 over the ACC champion. So we'll just toss that out. And Marie Gulich, speaking of tossing out, may be gone right here with a 5th foul. And that's going to make an comeback even more improbable.
The 6'5" senior, what a brilliant career at Oregon State. One of the top shot blockers in the country. She's going to have a great pro career playing for the German national team. Or the WNBA as well.
ESPN W All-America and the co-Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year.
You know, I charted all of her blocks, Beth, on Synergy. 61% of the time she blocks shots. She puts it into their transition game, but she didn't get any opportunity today to block any shots.
She finishes up the day with 14 points, 8 rebounds, but the 7 turnovers. So Louisville will give it back.
We just were bragging about Louisville taking care of the ball, and then they turn it over under a little duress. And now you can switch on everything if you're Louisville, because they've got basically 5 guards on the floor, and that's why you switch, because they're going to start shooting threes.
Durr will bring it across midcourt. Let's bring in Allison Williams right here. Allison. Well, we seem to be having a little trouble with Allison's mic right now. We'll get back to her in a moment. Four on the shot clock. Jones will have to create. Blocked. Another turnover. And the breakaway. Hines Allen out in front. She's got a dozen.
The full court pressure for 40 minutes was the game plan, and Jeff Walz is sticking with it. He wants to keep his team in rhythm.
Let's check back in with Allison. Sorry about the technical issues, folks.
Dribble handoff action going right, Beth.
Durr to Hines Allen. Knocked out of bounds. Allison?
Beth, Louisville certainly came out here full speed today, despite the fact that they tipped off about 36 hours after their last game ended. And one of the ways they track how hard players are working is through something called Catapult, and it tracks what they consider player load data. They wear these devices during games, during practice, and it's a way to measure how hard they are working, how much energy is being exerted. You go back to their game on Friday against Stanford. For Asia Durr, her total workload after 3 quarters was 427. Keep in mind, for a game, she averages about 600, so she was right on track. Sam Furing was 391, Maisha Hines Allen 291. Well, today you can see their workload is actually much higher. Asia Durr at 540. And keep in mind, for an entire game, it's usually 600. That's after 3 quarters. So you can see how much harder they're working today. And what Louisville does is they monitor this so then they can manage it. It helps them tailor their practices based on how hard their players are working in the game.
Oh, and there's good numbers on just how good the defense has been, too. It speaks to what Tina Murray and the Louisville Director of Sports Performance crew does.
I got a science lesson yesterday listening to Tina. I had no idea what she was talking about. All this
first for you, by the way?
Arbitrary units and all that. No, I would be in the STEM program for sure.
Yeah, all kinds of technology now available.
Well, as the level of play rises, you can measure how hard they're working, but most importantly, what their recovery will be. And then you want to make sure that when you're in a situation like this, you're prepared. So it's not just shooting the basketball and playing defense. It's all the other things that come with it. And Louisville does a terrific job with their total student athlete welfare program. But I would like to get in one of those Normatec things, Beth, and see how I can see if I can run a little bit longer, farther.
The ceiling's quite high for you, Debbie, since the bar is so low to start out with. It's been all Louisville in this second half as they loom large right now in Columbus, Ohio, and the first team into the Final Four if they can finish this out. Everybody getting involved. Hines Allen with 14, Furing with 10, Durr with 18. And Hines Allen got hung up. Corsdale draws the foul on a good ball fake.
Yes, terrific job getting Hines Allen off her feet. The other thing is Louisville's been able to play this terrific pressure without fouling. And a nice job of being connected as Marie Gulich sits with 5 fouls for Oregon State.
A school record 35 wins this year for Louisville. Their only losses to Florida State and to UConn. They are on the opposite side of the bracket of the Huskies. Would not see them until the national championship game as Maisha Hines Allen checks out and gets a nice hand. ACC regular season co-champs, ACC tournament champs, their first postseason hardware in 25 years at Louisville. It has been a season for the books, and they are hoping that it's at least 1 and maybe 2 more games. One of the questions when we talked to Jeff Walls yesterday, he was wondering, you know, as good a three-point shooting team as they are, Debbie, can Oregon State make enough twos to beat them? And the answer today has been an absolute no. 5 triples and only 8 two-pointers, and Gulich out with 5 fouls.
Well, that's your 2-point basket machine, is Marie Gulich, and they did a terrific job collapsing on her all game. But their ball pressure has been outstanding.
I think Gulich actually, Debbie, is the only Beaver with a 2-point basket. All Louisville right now. 4 minutes and 52 seconds away from the big stage in Columbus, Ohio, in a 65-38 lead.
A part of a greater journey, because we all stand on the shoulders of those that came before us. The NCAA Women's Final Four begins March 30th.
First team there might just be the Louisville Cardinals. 4:52 to go and a 65-38 lead.
Senda Berenson on that promo. First lady of basketball.
Oh, yeah, all right. Big story here has been the 24 points off of 17 turnovers for Louisville. And that's the 4th foul on Maisha Hines-Allen. The winner of this one heading to Columbus, where in the national semifinals they would face either Mississippi State or UCLA. That game is tonight on ESPN at 7:30 Eastern out in Kansas City.
Great guard matchup in that one with Jordan Canada for UCLA and Morgan William from Mississippi State. And on the inside, Monique Billings at the 5 spot for UCLA. Tiara McCowan from Mississippi State at 6'7", did not miss a shot in their last game, 11 for 11 against NC State.
Quick little history lesson, too, for you youngsters. Before the NCAA was the AIAW, UCLA won a national championship in 1978. But since then, they have not played in the Final Four. They are trying to get back tonight. Of course, that great team featuring Annie Myers
and
Denise Curry.
Billy Moore was the head coach. Ann Myers has an award named after her from the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. That's how good she is. Asia Durr's a candidate for that award.
This one not going the way the Pac-12 had hoped, but they still have 2 other teams fighting for a spot in the Final Four, in the Bruins, and then tomorrow night, Oregon and Notre Dame. Irish are averaging 95 points per game in the tournament. The Ducks, 90 points per game in the tournament. That's at 9 o'clock tomorrow night.
We got
the first one is 7 o'clock, UConn, South Carolina tomorrow night.
Really good execution and really good patience and poise by Louisville. Just running through their stuff, trying to score late in the shot clock. But let me say this about Scott Rueck. He's terrific. He is a brilliant coach. His team understands a game plan. They're just overmatched here athletically. But we saw them play a very athletic Baylor team and win. And they saw them play a very athletic Tennessee team and win.
Handed the Lady Vols their first ever home loss in the NCAA tournament.
Maybe playing on house money here in this event because they've gone farther than what they expected after graduating Sydney Weiss and the year before Ruth Hamlin and Jamie Weisner.
Gabby Hansen. We mentioned the Maryland transfer, the point guard coming in next year, Destiny Slocum, as well as a top 10 recruit, 6'9" Andrea Aquino next year.
Hey, Destiny Slocum is a game changer for Oregon State because now Pivick and McWilliams can get off the ball, play on the wing. They're terrific shooters and playmakers. They'll be back, Oregon State, no question in my mind.
Gulich will be the only one that they will lose out of their regular rotation. On the Louisville side, they are getting ready to celebrate. 2:54 to go. The first time in school history as a #1 seed, and they will run it out and get to the Final Four. And with Notre Dame playing tomorrow night, the ACC has a shot still at getting 2 teams in. Asia Durr gonna enjoy this one with her brother TJ, as Allison reported earlier. He's the manager on this team. Here is Durr. Maisha Hines-Allen also celebrating with her brother today. Josh is actually a star football player with the Kentucky football team. And here's what the sisters had to say about their brothers.
My best friend, we're 14 months apart, so we're pretty close. We do everything together. It's literally like my twin, but the boy version of me. Yeah, it's pretty much it. I'm a big family person, so that means a lot to me.
Fearing looking for 3, and she hits it.
Fearing just adding to the next opponent's scouting report by knocking down a 3.
Taylor Kelmer with the bucket, and just a whistle here for a substitution, and they are on their feet in Lexington. The starters check it out.
Number 10, Sydney Zambrana. Number 24, Jessica Lemley.
Knowing you can clear the bench in a game like this with your next stop in Columbus is a good feeling for Louisville.
Jeff Walls told us, no matter what, we're going on a family trip this week. We're either going to the Final Four in Columbus or we're going skiing, and I'm sure the Walls family more than happy to keep the skis in the closet one more week. As his wife and his family, as one of his daughters looks on, there's Lauren, his wife, and Hines Allen, the senior, in her last game in the state of Kentucky. I think she was smart enough to foul herself out.
She did.
To get the standing ovation.
Jeff told her to foul.
And now Durr. She'll finish with 18 points and carry that hot hand on to Columbus. And that scouting report, Debbie, for either Mississippi State or UCLA is going to start with how to deal with their ball pressure and their quickness on the perimeter. That was absolutely lethal today against Oregon State.
And their spacing and their offensive execution and their offensive balance.
Bench players getting in on the act.
Sydney Zambrata knocking down a three.
They're looking for Limley here, number 24. Final 30 seconds of this Elite Eight matchup in Lexington. And the Louisville Cardinals are going to get the win over Oregon State and head back to the Final Four for the first time in 5 years. And the season will come to an end for the Beavers at 26-8. And Louisville is moving on to the Final Four.
76, Oregon State 43.
Points off of turnovers from that Louisville defense today. 18 for Asia Durr, 16 for Hines Allen, Furing with 14, and Carter with 10. The double-digit scorers for Louisville. Marie Gulich ends her career with 14 points, 8 rebounds. And the ACC champs advance.
And we invite you to remain seated for the championship awards presentation.
So the first team into the Final Four, down the bottom there, the Louisville Cardinals, the 1 seed in Lexington. And they will face either Mississippi State or UCLA in the national semifinals. That game is coming up tonight at 7:30 Eastern. Allison Williams now with Asia Durr.
Thank you very much, Beth. Asia, I think the smile says it all. How does it feel to be going to the Final Four?
Honestly, right now, I could just thank God, thank my teammates, my coaches, my family. I'm speechless right now. I'm trying to soak it all in. We played great tonight, man. We just continue to build, and I'm so thankful for my teammates. They played great again tonight.
What makes this group, this team, so special?
The whole team can score. When they play a box and chaser on me, I mean, players step up, and they all score. I mean, they did a great job tonight.
You've been able to share this season, this experience with your brother, TJ. I saw you seek him out as soon as the buzzer sounded. What was that like to share that moment with him?
Making history. He's my best friend. I mean, he does so much for me. I love him so much. There he is right there. I'm speechless. Thank you. I love you, boy. I don't know. I'm so speechless right now. I really don't know what to say, but he means so much.
I'll let you wrap it up then. Go enjoy this one with your teammates.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Asia.
76-43 the final. Louisville a winner over Oregon State, and the Cardinals are heading back to the Final Four in search of their first national championship. For Debbie Antonelli and Allison Williams, I'm Beth Mullins. Thanks for joining us. Now let's get you back to the studio and Maria Taylor.
Okay, put your hand down for me. Hold my hand.
Jeff, you got your girls here. Your girls, oh, sorry. Yep. Here, and your girls behind you that got you to the Final Four, back there for the first time since 2013. What's it mean to you?
You know what, I'm excited because my two oldest, Jacob and Kaylee, are going to get the chance to come to the Final Four and spend it with us. So we're really excited about that, to have all the kids with us. And I'm so proud of these players. They bought into dealing with me. I'm tough, but I think we know what we're doing, not just for basketball, but for life. And I'm so proud of every single one of them.
You said how special the chemistry is with this group, that it's stronger than any other team you've had. How has that translated in the tournament?
Well, we fought through adversity. You know, there's been some times when we didn't shoot the ball well in the first half today, but we kept buying in. I didn't have to try to pick anybody up. It wasn't somebody getting down. I was missing shots. It's just good kids. I've got good kids that play the game, and when things aren't going well their way, they just keep fighting.
Saw that big hug with Maisha Hines-Allen. What does it mean as a senior to be able to get her to Final Four?
Well, it's great because, you know, we've been fortunate here. Steph Norman's been with me all 11 years, and every player that's stayed 4 years and graduated now has played in the Final Four, and that's pretty special.
Yeah. You good with taking a family trip to Columbus instead of skiing next weekend?
You know what? We will definitely be going up to Columbus. We'll have to cancel that ski trip.
Jeff, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Maisha, congratulations on to the Final Four. What was going through your mind when the final buzzer sounded?
We're going to the Final Four. This program's been through so much right now, so just for the city to see us win and go back to the Final Four is amazing.
As a senior, you know this is the end of the road wherever it ends for you. What does it mean to you to be able to get to that stage as a senior?
Yeah, I mean, my senior year, I'm going out with a bang. We went ACC champions. We're going to the Final Four, so I mean, this is a blessing just to be able to be a part of this type of program.
What was required of your team today against Oregon State to advance?
I didn't hear the first part.
What did you have to do against Oregon State to advance?
Oh, we play aggressive, play our game. It was going to come down on the defensive end. I mean, they're a great three-point shooting team. They have a great post player on that team. So I mean, it was going to come down to if we actually wanted to have grit and play with enthusiasm.
What is it about this group that's allowed you guys to have the success you've had?
We're happy for each other. We want to see each other succeed, no matter who's scoring, who's rebounding. We all want to see each other be happy and get far.
Maisha, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone from all 4 schools that came out here to support this event. What an unbelievable crowd, what an unbelievable environment. I hope you all have your tickets to Columbus, because if you don't come up, shame on you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Try to sell tickets.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to announce the 2018 Lexington Regional All-Tournament team. From Oregon State, Marie Gulich. From Louisville, Sam Fury. Erica Carter. And Maisha Hines-Allen. And the most outstanding player of the Lexington region, from Louisville, Asia Durr. Thank you everyone for your attendance today at the final game. Good evening, and drive safely home. We'll see you in Columbus. up here.
Stop arguing with Jay. Let's go. Yeah, Liz. Tina, get in here. Stand back up. First.
Tina, hop in the front.
Come on, Christine, you're with us.
Hold on. Which camera?
All right, great job. We just won the Pac-12. Did we get that trophy too? Did we get the Pac-12 trophy? I know. Oh yeah. Oh, I can see.
Yeah, I got 3 to cut. Anybody want to finish? Mine's good. Who's going to get that other one to?
Lindsay.
Okay.
Lindsay wanted me to cut one because hers messed up in abortion. That's what they call it.
This is a wrap.
Coach Walls! You want it?